How much information does Jesus give us in our walk with him? Are we meant to just kind of walk blindly with him, or does he give us insider information? Do we know more about it than most people, or are we just walking step by step by faith like everyone else? This is Season 3, Episode 16 of Unhurried. Ryan Viramontes is right here next to me.
Hey.
I'm Doug Kyle. Good to have each of you with us today. Today, you're wearing your cap backwards. I'm wearing my forward. And to Rick, who made the comment, and we talked about last week, or a couple weeks ago or last week?
I think it was last week, right?
Yeah,
it was last week.
Yeah, that I look like Gomer Pyle.
Gomer Pyle.
How's this look, Rick? Does this look all right? You know, is the hat down low enough for you? No one can see my eyes, but it's not going to be up high. So anyway, doing my best. You know, we do respond to the comments that we get.
Well, on Sunday, I just couldn't help it. Like every time I saw you, as we were passing, as we say, we do the pick and roll on Sunday, we were, and as we were picking and rolling, I kept on going, is that Doug Kyle or is that Gomer Pyle?
Yes. Well,
I was having way too much fun with
I'm
it.
very self-conscious now today about my hat because of the comments there from our Texas listener. Yeah. But anyway, good to have everyone along with us today.
Yeah, of course.
Today, last week, I want to start out with, because I have a little bit of a bone to pick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not with you.
Oh, okay.
Not with you.
I was like, am I getting fired? This is a weird way to do it, but I'm here for it.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. We need to talk, Ryan. No, my last week I had tea with you. We had tea
that
together.
Was so nice.
It was very nice.
Thank you very much.
I noticed you even mentioned it in the kind of the description of the podcast itself that we had tea together.
Yeah.
It was long overdue. Something you've been saying. You remember the early days when I used to make tea for you. So I made some tea for you. I asked Bethany in our office to just simply boil some water and bring it in for sometime during the podcast so that I could make tea.
Sure.
She sent that clip of her bringing in the tea to all her family and friends. And if you look at the comments on Tea Girl is blowing up.
Tea Girl, I like it.
Tea Girl is out of control. All the comments from family and friends that have that she sent it to.
Right.
As her 15 seconds of fame, she comes on and brings hot water into our studio for us.
Yeah.
So one person commented that on her post, because I guess it's she's
famous now.
Really famous now that she made it under the Unhurried podcast. One person said, "I really love the way that Doug said," sarcasm.
Right.
I really love the way that Doug said, "I'm going to make you some tea," and then you, Bethany, brought the tea in and made it and served it. And I just want to clarify, because I feel a little defensive.
Yeah, I
just want to clarify that if people watch more than Bethany's 15 seconds of fame, if they watch before or after, just a few minutes in either direction, they will see that I actually chose the loose leaf tea, put it in the pot.
Yes, you did.
Bethany brought in boiling water, but then if they watched longer, I steeped it, timed it, poured it at just the right time, knew the kind of tea that we had chosen.
Right.
Making tea is way more than just pouring boiling
hot water.
Yes. So Bethany is like hot water girl, not tea girl. She's just hot water girl.
Well, as we know, if the internet catches on to something, it's game over.
Yeah,
so.
It's game over. She is now tea girl.
She's tea girl now.
She gets all the credit. I know nothing about tea. That's fine. All right.
That's so good. That's so funny. Well, the thing with Bethany is, shout out to her, but like she one of the things I love about her is that she loves to laugh. And,
yes, she does.
So she doesn't take things all that serious.
Oh, no. She's laughing right now. She's listening.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I know you can kind of joke around with some people, but with her, I've had so much laughter, and so it's like with her and like T Girl, I'm just gonna keep adding to her contact info in my phone because I like to jokingly call her Bethany Joe. Because she's from Terrasana, and I don't know why.
There we go.
I always go every time I see her. I'm always like, "That's Bethany Joe from Terrasana."
All right, we just lost a whole segment of our listeners. The Terrasana listeners are now checked out. Thanks, Ryan.
Well, I don't know why, but Terrasana is not country. You know what I mean? Like, it's not Bonzel or anything like that. You know.
Oh, now we lost another segment.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Great. Let's not mention any more cities in a derogatory way.
I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying it sounds like it's
not Bonzel or anything.
I love Bonzel, actually. I love Bonzel. I'm in Bonzel all the time. So
well, also the other thing about Bethany is that she is has a lot of talents. Among
oh my gosh,
she's an incredible vocalist, insane vocalist. But now she's the T girl. Nothing about her.
I know about her singing, right?
T girl.
T girl
is now what she's known for on the internet.
No.
All right. So anyway, I just had to get that off
some
my
of us
chest.
Some of us are Gomer Pyle, Prison Mike,
Yeah.
T girl.
Did you get any Prison Mike comments on Sunday?
No, not all that much, but it was just kind of funny that it made me laugh that it came back around.
Because I think all our listeners, all they did was focus on Bethany. And
I think so.
Beyond that.
No, it's all good. I'll give her the credit.
All right. Well, Unhurried is designed to be this conversational space where we slow down and go a little deeper into what we talk about on Sunday morning. I've often compared it to like a cup of coffee or tea, where tea would work from last week, where we just sit down and kind of have a little bit more leisurely time thinking about the things that we talk about on Sunday morning. Today I want to, Cindy gave me an idea.
Okay.
And I think that having tea on the podcast spurred her thinking on this. And so if you will humor me, I would like to have a taste test here on the podcast.
Nice.
Ryan knows nothing about this.
I don't, but I don't know what we're getting into, but I love it.
Well, right here, I got a bag of tortilla chips.
Ooh.
Right? And that's for you. I've got a bag for me.
Nice.
And we are going to do some salsa tasting.
Oh, I love salsa.
Salsa tasting.
Love it.
If you want to just put those four out in front of you, and I'll do the same with... All right, so these are from Yesenia's.
Nice.
Not a sponsor. And I intentionally grabbed one that I always have, and then three that I never get for some reason. And
which one do you usually go for?
I'm going to have you guess which of these. So I want two things. I want to have you tell me your favorite. And then also I want to have you tell me, there's four in front of us. So even if you're watching, you're not going to see this. We've got a bag of chips in front of us and four different salsa flavors. Both have the exact same match.
Nice.
And I want you to we're going to sample these together. And then I have you tell me your favorite. And then also I want you to tell me which one you think is my go-to. It may no longer be my favorite. After I tried these, I go, why do I always get that?
Right.
Because the other three are, for some reason, ones that I never get.
Sure. What order are you going? I want to go in the same order.
We're going to go in the same order. We're going to start with Chunky, which is this red one.
Yeah.
All right. And then next we're going to go...
Chew off mic, by the way.
Yeah, I will chew off mic. That's a good call. Good call. And then the next one is going to be the
like salsa verde.
It's called Verde.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next one's going to be, it's simply called Orange. That's what they named it, Orange. And it is orange in color. I don't know if it has any actual oranges in it, but it's called Orange. And then the last one's Jalapeno.
Nice.
All right. So we're going to apologize if you still hear us, but we're going to chew off mic. And we'll start with the Chunky.
Right. Mandy always says about tortilla chips that if someone asks her, like, do you want 16 tortillas? And she's like, no, that's crazy. She's like, but if you fry them and cut them in triangles, of course I'll eat all of them. Like, that's what Mandy always says.
Right. That's funny.
Yeah, that's okay.
Average, right?
Yeah,
Average is it.
it's
doesn't-
closer to like a pico de gallo for me.
Yeah, it's good. I like chunky
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
But this one's just a little. I feel like doesn't have some bite to it.
No, I agree.
All
I
right.
agree. All right, here we go.
All right. Next one is the Verde.
There it is. Yeah. Very Verde.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tastes good. That's the one. That's Mandy's favorite.
That's Mandy's favorite.
Yeah, Mandy's a Verde kind of girl. So
I feel like it varies from taco shop to taco shop too.
it does.
So a certain, the Verde here would be different than a Verde somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's got a it lingers.
Yes, it does.
Lingers.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it's got a
Yeah,
little
that's good.
heat to it that comes late. Little
Yeah.
late heat. All right, this was the most curious one to me. It's simply called Orange. It's on the very end, and I never, well, I just gave it away. I never get this one.
Right.
So, that's not my favorite, but this is the most curious. What do you think?
I don't feel like it tastes like anything. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's kind of, it does have some heat to it, but otherwise it's kind of weak.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a lot of flavor. It just
No.
has some heat.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That
All
would be
right.
good if you mixed it with the chunky one.
Oh, maybe we'll do that.
Yeah, that would be good. If you mix those two together,
That'll be
that
our
might be.
fifth.
Yeah.
We'll try that. We'll try that at the end. All right. And then the final one is the jalapeno.
I would probably go for a jalapeno.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know this isn't your taco shop. You go to a taco shop called Jalapenos.
I do.
Is that still your favorite or not?
No, so it's kind of funny because I have a theory. We're going to get lost in the weeds here, and nobody's going to care about this. But I have a theory that when, because I've lived in San Diego now for 10 years, that I think that the cooks at Jalapenos moved over to Yesenia's.
Oh, really?
Because Yesenia's, to me, tastes like Jalapenos
Used to
taste.
All right.
But jalapeno salsa is still top notch to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which isn't,
Right.
we're
Right.
so if the cooks came over, they still didn't bring their salsa.
They didn't bring the
recipe with them.
salsa. No.
Mhm.
But the tacos, the burritos, all of their other food to me tastes like jalapenos used to.
Okay.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still tasting the heat on that jalapenos right now.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah.
That one lingered.
I love spicy salsa.
All right. So which of the four, which one's your favorite?
I would probably go orange just because.
Really?
Here's why.
Even though you said it was nothing.
But I don't want to lose the flavor of whatever I'm eating.
Oh, interesting.
Right? So if I have like a adobada or like something that has like a carnitas that something has already marinated something in it, I don't want to lose that flavor. So I
Yeah.
just want to enhance the flavor where I feel like the orange would enhance it and the jalapeno just takes it over.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's a really good point. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Orange could give you the heat, a little bit of heat,
Right.
without changing the flavor.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Which one do you think is my favorite?
If I had to guess, the Verde, I think.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. And it's also Amanda's.
It's Mandy's
apparently.
favorite
Just learned
too.
that.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite. Although I am surprised with what you said about the orange. So next time I think I'm gonna try the orange.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
try
try
it.
the orange on because my go-to is lengua.
Yes, I know.
I get the
know.
lengua tacos. Sorry for anybody who's that just bothers them, but it's tongue,
Yeah.
beef tongue,
Yeah.
so good. Which one of the reasons though I like it is because it's fairly bland and it absorbs the flavors around it. So
Yes, it
the
does.
onions, the cilantro, and the salsa that you put on it, it really absorbs it well. So I may need something stronger than just the or with more flavor than
Right.
just the orange here.
Right. Right.
So, do you want to try the mixing?
I'm gonna try mixing them.
Mixing
Yeah.
the orange with
Yeah.
the chunky.
I love spicy salsa, and shout out to some friends who also serve on the worship team here. They went to they used to live in Portland for a time, and they came home with hot sauce for me, and it is hot, but I love it. It's so good.
See, I can't handle too hot. I'm a little gringo-ish in that.
That's where the party's at.
You think that's better?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, mix those two together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is very interesting. Well, I knew I'd learn something here. I knew that, that I kind of felt like you would be more of a connoisseur than I would when it comes to different salsas.
Oh yeah. I love salsas. I love spicier the better. I always every time I go to a Mexican food restaurant, I'm like, what's the spicy salsa that you have here? And I want that one. Without even trying it, I'll just be like, that's the one that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm the only one too. Like kids can't handle it. Mandy could for a little while, but then she can't handle it anymore. Mm-hmm. So
she was trying to impress you, but now that you guys have been married for a decade or whatever, it's like whatever. No.
That's so funny. That reminded me of I love the kids at this age because the conversations, and I mean, I know we're going to get into the podcast too, but maybe we should actually, and maybe I'll save the story. But
okay, definitely save the story because I want to hear it. Give me a word or something that I'll know what it is so I can remind you.
Right.
It's what's the topic?
Well, it was just I guess the topic would be more along the lines of asking questions I know you got into it in your message when you were kind of oh, the kids are little and they're asking why and stuff like that. So
at the end we'll segue back to that
for sure
because I that's usually the best parts of this podcast is when you tell stories about your kids. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be good. Well, we're in the middle of our podcast series, Life on the Vine. The goal is a deeper dive into messages from Sunday. And now we're looking at John 15 and Jesus' description of God as the gardener, he's the vine, we're the branches, and how that transfer happens. And if the transfer comes from God to Jesus to us, and as we're going to see today, that is not only a transfer of love, but also a transfer of information, what does that mean? How much information does Jesus give us about our walk with him? Do we simply go through our journey with him blindly, or are we insiders? Do we have more information than we realize about what God's doing? How does that work? And the reason I say all this is because in John 15:15, Jesus is to me one of the most tender passages in the Bible. I love it so much. Jesus says to his disciples, and by way of application to us, he says, I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything I have learned from my Father, I've made known to you. So what does that mean? That Jesus, what he has learned from the Father, he's now making known to us. Earlier he said that the way the Father loved him is the way he loves us. Now he's saying the way that the Father has revealed his plan and purposes to Jesus, Jesus has also now given us that information as well. What exactly does that mean? There's an old saying that I feel like I've heard most of my life, and people say, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. And it gives the idea that, we don't need any information. Mm-hmm. We just simply look at the instructions, do what we're told, and never ask why. But this verse, to me, challenges that a little bit. It informs my perspective on that. We are not servants only. It's not just that we go through life and just salute and never ask why. It almost seems as if Jesus is implying that we do have information available to us that a employee or a servant wouldn't have. And certainly that questions, it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to try to seek to understand what he's doing, since part of what it means that he's our friend is that he wants to disclose that to us. And yet, I don't feel like I experience that all the time. There's still a lot in my life that I just step out in faith, not really knowing what God is up to. So what exactly does that mean? Well, I think we need to begin with this, that Jesus is using relational language, not omniscience language. He's not saying that because God is omniscient and I am omniscient, therefore you are omniscient. God knows everything, I know everything, and now you know everything. That's not what he's saying. He's using relational language. The idea is that this is what friends do. They confide in one another. They tell secrets. They have confidentiality between them. They they disclose information to
Right.
one another.
Well, I remember like like growing up and stuff like that, like, you'd hear like songs, like worship songs,
Mhm.
like I have a friend in God, or like, what a friend we have in Jesus.
Mhm, mhm.
And I remember going like, doesn't that seem so cash? Like it
Yes.
just seems, like a friend, like a buddy. Like it doesn't seem like, I'm like, this is the God of the universe we're talking about here. Like,
Yes.
like, shouldn't we give some respect,
Right.
But if you start to dive into the scriptures and you start to dive into what Jesus literally told us, he elevates that relationship
Mhm.
where he says, you're no longer these, servants or disciples, right? He's saying you guys are now my friends. Like I'm sharing with you what the Father has shared with me,
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that I think is what that's one of the reasons why I wanted to, in the passage, really play out the servanthood idea first before we got to the
Right.
friendship idea, because it does seem almost too casual or too simple to simply say, well, God, you're my friend. Almost like that. It feels a little bit arrogant to call God my friend. Isn't being a servant enough of a elevation?
Right.
Shouldn't we be grateful for that?
Yeah.
That we get to be his servants.
Yeah.
And the Bible certainly has a positive view of that serving Christ is important and appropriate, and that is already a very elevated position. So I wanted to live with that idea, like, what's wrong with being called a servant? Isn't that the humble and meaningful way to think about our relationship with him? Isn't it a little bit over the top to call him our friends, especially today? Today with our friend, the way we think about friendship is so loose.
Yes.
We have such a loose definition of, you could just be a friend and, friend on social media, it's just a casual acquaintance. We have your contact in my phone, and so somehow that makes you my friend. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they wanted to reference a friend of theirs. Like, oh yeah, I have this friend, and then he was thinking, I can't remember his name, but I know his Instagram title. It's like going, wow, that's so you don't know his name, but he's your friend. I mean, you just kind of, and I get it, because I forget people's names too. So I'm not being too hard on that, but just to say that we have a very, to me, a very low threshold for someone to be our friend in our society. And to realize that what Jesus is doing is calling us something way more intimate and serious and profound than that when he says that we're his friends. But especially when you realize servants would be enough, then it really makes it amazing that he calls us friends.
Right. Well, and that too, where now we're, sitting, or that time, Jesus is sitting at the table with his disciples, and he's like, you guys are now my friends. Like I consider you. And one friend betrayed him, and you brought this up on Sunday in your message. One friend betrayed him, and one friend denied him.
Yes.
And he considered them to be his closest friends.
Yes.
And of course, he restores, Peter and all that, and restores us. But that relationship that we have with Jesus, where he's, he died for us and we live for him. Where he's like, he elevates us as friends, and we're still works in progress as friends.
Yes,
I mean?
we don't always come through.
No, we
as
don't.
Friends.
He never fails, and we fail all the time.
And that's why it's important that he initiates this. He says, "I called you friends."
Yeah,
Jesus is the one who initiates the relationship. And it's not like us going up to him, hey, want to be my buddy? Or I'm your friend.
Right.
I'm God's friend.
Right.
It's he initiates and say, I call you friends. And since he initiates, he also is the one that secures it. It's based on his faithfulness, not ours.
Right.
He and Peter is a prime example of that, where that friendship was lasted and endured, even though Peter wasn't always, the best friend in return.
Right. Well, and to like, especially with friends, is that, friends can, hold each other accountable. They can, laugh and cry with each other. And Jesus, I think, once again, just reinforces that for us, on Earth's side, where he's like, I've put people in your life as friends to walk through this life with you. You know what I mean? Just like I'm walking with them and I'm walking with you too,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a great passage. And I've said this before, when we were, we got into the series earlier, that I was like, I just always thought it was like a little kid passage, because you kind of learn it in Sunday school, where you're like, oh, Jesus is the, vine and the branch, like you kind of go like, okay, we get it. You know what I mean? Like but since you've been diving into it, I'm looking through it with brand new eyes and going like, oh, there's so much to gain from this passage.
There is so much here, and this particular section of it, the servant friend, kind of he breaks the analogy a little bit. He steps outside of the vine and the branches analogy, but still he's talking about connection. He's still talking about relationship and staying connected, and it is profound that the God of the universe, would call us friends.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes we don't want to be friends. Sometimes, we talked about this. We said, sometimes we'd rather just be his employees, because that kind of intimacy and involvement in our lives feels a little scary. Do I really, because friends hold friends accountable.
Yes, they do.
Friends, challenge each other. The friends stay connected. Friends, we can't just go huge periods of our life without connecting with our friend, if capital F, if Jesus is our friend. So sometimes that is scary for us, but it when you start to really understand what it is, it becomes so distinct from any other way that people think about religion, that the God of the universe, who I worship and serve, also wants me to be his friend.
Yes. Yeah, I have very good friends, and just because of life, they live, far away, and we don't get to talk all the time, or we don't get to see them all the time, and they have kids. But they remind me very much of, or show me in my life, what Christ is to us, right? Because no matter how long we go without talking, right, I can always pick up the phone and give him a call, and we'll just pick up right where we left off, how many weeks or sometimes months that I go without talking to him. But that's just Jesus to us, right? Like you were saying earlier, it's like we're the ones that kind of like drop the ball on not being good friends with him, but he never does that for us. We can pick up the phone and call or sit down and pray and go, Jesus, I hope you're there. And he's always there, So,
And I imagine there might be someone listening or watching right now who is hearing that and maybe feels a little estranged from God, and feels at distance, and feels like it's been a while.
Yeah.
And maybe there's some spiritual geography between them and God. They've allowed that distance to creep in, and to just realize that he is just a prayer away, and that you don't have to come and say, well, I'll serve you for a while, and then I'll work my way up to friendship again. You have the beautiful story of the prodigal son who came back and pretty much said I don't deserve to be your son. I'll just serve. I'll just be your servant. And that's what we tend to want to do too. It's like, well, okay, no longer friends but servants. We switch this around. Jesus says you're no longer servants but friends, and if we feel far from God, we says we're no longer friends. We're servants.
Yeah.
And Jesus says no. It's like the Father throws his arms around us, hugs us, loves us, and welcomes us back. And this, to pursue this analogy, welcomes us back as a friend.
Yes.
Says you're my friend right now. So if you're listening to this and you feel far from God, Jesus it's the friendship initiation is on his end, and you're still his friend, and he wants you to enjoy that intimacy right now.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah. I think part of this conversation is also that this is consistent with the God we know. It seems like it's a radical thing that Jesus says here in the New Testament with his disciples at the Last Supper, but it really is consistent with God in the Old Testament too, where he called Abraham his friend, he called Moses his friend, and he invited his covenant people, the Israelites, into this intimate relationship with him too. This is the way God operates. This is completely different from the way we view religion, and that God has always longed to be in this tight relationship with his people, going all the way back. I mentioned this in the message, going all the way back to Adam and Eve, where he created humans to walk with them in the cool of the day in the garden, to have that beautiful relationship with them. And so it really is about access and intimacy and even prayer. It's interesting. A couple times in this section that we've been going through in this series, Jesus mentions prayer. And I think prayer I think part of the idea here is it's okay to ask. If you're my friend, you can ask me why, what, where, how. You can ask those questions. A servant can't. A servant just says, yes, sir. End of story. Yes, ma'am. I'm done. But a friend can ask the questions. And Jesus is inviting us into prayer in a couple different places in this passage. We'll see it again in the week to come, that it comes up again, because it's okay to ask. He's disclosed, it's this intimate relationship where that's a fair question.
Very much so. And it made me think of, I'm reading this book right now. And it's called, I think it's called, let me look at the title, so I want to get this right. Phil Wickham wrote it.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Phil Wickham, is he with or without a bandana?
He's without a bandana.
All right.
Okay, it's called On My Knees, and it's like a 40-day like prayer. And I love it. It's great.
Yes.
It's really, really good. And it's very conversational. It's very, intimate in the sense that he's writing like, what he just kind of wrote down some things and I'm saying obviously he put more thought into it, but it is very casual in the sense that you kind of do feel like a friend, that you're like, these are my thoughts and these are my prayers and this is my prayer for you as you're reading this. And like you were saying in this passage where Jesus is talking a lot about prayer, it's like that really is a conversation with him as we go throughout our day, or we start our day with a prayer, or we end our days, with prayers. It's just a conversation. And I think Jesus just wants to reiterate that to us, that he's never far away, that we're only a few words away from him being there for us.
Yes. Yeah. That's so good. So good. So we've kind of just explained what Jesus meant by this, but we still haven't really answered the question, what has he disclosed to us? When he says, I've told you everything, what does he mean by everything? And I think that part of the answer to that is that he shared his heart with us. He shared his mission. He shared his strategy. He told them what to do. He told them what God was up to. He told them about his purpose on the cross to redeem men and women to him, to come and to bring us back to the Father. He shared so much about God's purpose and plan for this world and for us. And that's what he shared with us, his heart, his mission, his strategy. So we can always go back to that. We don't know often the specifics, the details, the names and faces as it's going to play itself out in our own lives, but we do know the heart of Jesus and his character and his plan and purpose. And so we can be confident in that. He shared that with us. That's what he means, I've given you everything. Another way to think about this is he gave them and he gives us everything that we can handle. I really like that. The idea that Jesus doesn't give us more than we can bear. He gives us what you can bear. And there's a verse about that. I should have looked it up because it's really cool. Jesus says basically that. He says, I've shared with you as much as you can bear. I don't know if you can look it up and if you can find that in... I think it might also be in John, but he says, I've shared with you also as much as you can bear. I will share more later. That's kind of the idea there. And he does say that later the Holy Spirit will reveal to you what you need to know. But at this point, he's given us that much. We can only handle so much, and that's the information he's given us. So it wouldn't make sense for him to download everything to us, because we don't need to know what some random dude in the 16th century needed to know. God knows right now, but I don't need to know.
Right.
But I need to know what I face. Yeah. And that's the stuff that he's given for me.
I had a speaking of friends, I had a friend who posted something funny on Instagram, and he meant it very tongue in cheek, but it was quite funny. But he was like God gives won't give us more than we can handle, right? Like having us go through, struggles and things like that, And he's like, I just want to raise my hand and say, I'm not that strong. I'm not as good as you think I am, God. Can you give me less?
I'm here to say, I can't handle much. I can't handle much.
I can't. Yeah. My plate is very small. It was fun. It was very funny, and it made me laugh, but of course he meant it very tongue in cheek. Yeah. But
that's the problem with that idea that if you take it too far, that God, that we've talked about that in a previous series about, misunderstood passages.
Yeah.
But if God only gives us what we can bear, then people that have had really hard situations, it's like, I don't want to be that strong.
Right.
People go, oh, God must know you can handle that.
Right.
Well, no, I can't handle it. First of all, I can't handle it, nor do I want to. And that's an incentive for me not to be strong.
Right.
Why would I want to be strong if that means I'm going to have worse trials?
Right.
But so it's not what you can handle in the sense of the pressure you can handle, but I'm talking about the information you can handle.
Yes.
This is the information that's going to be meaningful to you right now. Maybe that's a better way to say it. This is what you need to know right now, and as you move forward, I'll give you more. The Holy Spirit promises to reveal more to you in the days ahead. So God gives us enough that we can handle in the moment. There's a great, let me just say this because it leads into a quote that I want to say, and that is, faith still needs to be activated. He's not giving us so much that we no longer need faith. It's like, well, I know exactly, do this, this is what's going to happen. And it's at that point, if he revealed it to us that clearly, we wouldn't need faith. Yeah. All we would need is we've got enough information. We just need to follow through on what he's already said. We know it's going to happen. But faith is still required. It still needs to be activated. Blaise Pascal said this. He said, there's enough light for those who only desire to see, and enough obscurity for those who have a contrary disposition. And the idea is that God gives us enough information so that we can see for the next step, but we still have to have faith. But if we don't desire to, that, he's not going to reveal the path to us. And so as I feel like it's like a dimmer switch. If you picture that, God just slowly gives more light into our life. If you're gradually lifting up a dimmer switch at home and the light's coming on slowly, as we step out, then we get more information. As we act upon what we know, he'll give us more information, always requiring faith, but enough to go, it seems as if this is the direction based on God's character, his will, his plan, his purposes. This seems like the next step for me.
Well, how many times, in our lives, do we, move in a direction or start a new job or I don't know, we have a lot of students right now at the church that are graduating, and like kind of stepping into a whole new chapter, and it's like, how many times do you step into something and you go, I don't know if this is going to work out in 5 years or whatever, but then you look back and you go, well, that was God's hand in that, and that was his hand in this, and you go, I'm stepping out in faith. I'm going to make this happen. And I know, you go before me,
Yes.
And so it's like, yes, faith, like you said, still needs to be activated. It's not just this, I believe in Jesus and I'll check in when I can. It's an active relationship that continues to go and build and build and build.
And more often than not, the thing that God wants us to do in that situation is you take that new job, as you go into that next season, as you move into the next stage of your life, isn't as much the stage, the season, the job as it is the way that you do it.
Right.
Like what's clear
Right.
is I'm supposed to do this in a loving way. I'm
Mhm.
supposed to do this with faith. I'm supposed to be a witness. I'm supposed to live as a testimony. I'm supposed to genuinely care about the people around me. I'm supposed to honor him in the way I do it and follow his instructions for me. All of that is clear.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, well, if I do that in this situation, God's big enough to get me where he wants me.
Yeah.
Along
Very
the
much
way.
so. Very much so. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a great passage where Jesus conveys what it means to be his friends, and he does it in the most interesting way as he talks about this information transfer that's happened from the Father to him to us. And in the same way, love has been transferred, so information gets transferred. And I wanted to go a little deeper into what exactly that means,
Mhm.
since that can kind of be a little bit of a confusing passage. What do you mean you've disclosed everything, but I still feel like there's a lot of uncertainty as I move forward? Well, hopefully that's been helpful for you to think about that together. So I was supposed to say, tell me about kids' questions.
Yeah.
Tell me about kids' questions.
Yeah.
And we'll see how, I bet there's a connection here.
Yeah, well,
we'll see if there is.
It's
anyway.
cute because it's like, especially at this age, like they're starting to try and put like everything together, right? Like
Yeah.
how it all how their world around them works together, So I don't remember how we started talking about it, but we just started talking about, because sometimes I'll say, like, to Mandy, I'll say like, oh, that's my best friend, or like I'll be like, what's up, bestie, or sometimes she'll call me bestie,
Mhm.
So we started, kind of, we jokingly say that to each other, and so then Evie, I was driving her to dance, and so she's like, she's like, do you like things because mommy likes things, or does mommy like things because you like things? Like she's trying to put it all together,
Mhm.
And so I was like, yeah, I mean, like when you when you like somebody, and Mandy and I've been together for a long time, I was like, you kind of share certain things that you like, and then they like those things because you like those things, you know.
Your interests become similar,
Right. And so I was sharing with her, and I was like, I was like, kind of like with baseball, like I didn't grow up playing baseball. Like my coach, when I played one season of t-ball, and my coach had asked my mom at the end of the season, is there any other sport that he likes? Because this is not working.
That's brutal.
I know,
How old were you?
5.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't figured it out by 5, give up on baseball.
Give it up.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's fine. I mean, my mom signed me up for hockey, and the rest is history. So, but
So it worked out.
So it worked out. He was right. But no, so I was like, so we were talking about that for a little bit, and she's like, I'm not gonna get married now, and I was like, well, you're 6, Evie.
You're thinking clearly.
Like, okay.
You're thinking clearly. That's good.
We're off to a good start, so far. She's like, when I do, right? She's like, what if like he likes football? Does that mean I have to start liking football? And I was like, well, yeah, if you like him, right, and he likes football, then yeah, you're probably going to have to start liking football. She's like, okay. She's like, well, I don't like football right now. And I was like, okay, well, you don't have to worry about it right now. But I think it's like, it's a fun age for the kids, because you can kind of tell like they're getting older, right? And I know you have adult children, so, it's like you go from like having them be like these little kids, right? And like kind of like, God, and saying that, not that we're his employees, but it's like at first he kind of goes like, okay, here's some of the rules, or here's some of the guidelines on being in a relationship with me. And then as we start to, become more and more invested, then he starts to open up, like you were saying, like a dimmer light. He starts to open up so much more. Where with the kids, you kind of start off with, here's the rules, like here's the, I don't want you doing this. And then now as they're getting older, you can start explaining things, and like they start asking you questions about your life, and all these fun questions.
That's
now,
so cute. That's so cute. You can see her sort of thinking, well, I'm probably going to change with time. I'm going to, and maybe someone will come into my life that'll influence my interests and
Yes.
and all of that. And
Yes.
good for her. If we all could have that attitude,
I know, right?
to just say, Lord, keep me growing and
Mhm.
and open to.
Mhm.
I might not like it now, but who knows what will happen. So
yeah. Evie's my little go-getter. So
if she ever starts liking football, I'm going to see if there's a guy in her life, though. I'm going to go, well, who's
who's this influence going?
yeah, where's that influence coming from? Yeah, she better be like 37, and then it'll be fine.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Not for a long time.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we like to always include listeners' comments and questions, and we actually got a video from.
I have it right here.
You have the video,
I do.
and
I can embed it also. So
all right,
for the viewers at home.
all right. It is from our Swiss listeners. Who used to go to our church, Sandra, and she's been following along and has sent us pictures of her working in her garden in Switzerland, and saying that it goes along exactly with the our message where we're talking about life in the vine and gardening, and so that's really cool. She's doing this as she's listening, and so put it right into awesome. That's awesome. Well, once again, international listeners.
Hey,
global audience.
I don't want to say we're a big deal, but
Bethany the Tea Girl has made it big time by being on our show. So apparently we are that, that we've reached that level where people, their fame is connected.
Send us your drink recommendations or food recommendations.
Or salsa recommendations. Yes. If you have any, if you disagree with us about the salsa choice, let us know.
Right. The kids say when something's happening and one of them's in a bad mood or something, mostly to Brinley, because she, my littlest one, she's wild. But we always say we're like, oh, she's getting spicy.
Getting spicy. Yeah. How do you like your salsa? Spicy or bland? Let us know. And we are so grateful to have enthusiastic listeners and viewers along the way. I'm very thankful, Ryan, to have you be a part of this whole journey with us. Part of the brainstorm from the very beginning, and here it is. We're into our third season. It's pretty exciting. Well, until next time, you've been listening to Unhurried with Doug Kyle, and I look forward to talking soon. So I want to look at that a little bit more deeply. We're in the series, as you mentioned, on the vine. It comes from John 15, where Jesus described himself as the vine. I am the vine. Earlier he had said, I am the true vine, saying that he's the one that the only place that we can draw our life truly. And then in verse 5, he says, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you'll bear fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And so that's the big picture of our discussion. And it's been kind of carrying us for several weeks through this podcast. And today I want to follow up on the passage that we looked at on Sunday, which is, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Now remain in my love. And the idea, do you catch the transfer that's going on there? It's the Father that has loved me, so I love you. So Jesus is saying that the very love that God the Father had for him is the same love that he had for us. That to me is incredible.